to spend a little bit of time with Ashley Ambirge from the Middle Finger Project. Maybe my favorite project on the entire internet, by the way.
I'm innocent. I never give the finger, I swear.
Me either. So what was it, about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, I was having lunch with a good friend of mine, and she says, well, you've heard of the Middle Finger Project? And I said, no, I haven't. So I went and looked you up, and I had to reach out to you, even if nothing else happened, just because of my whole genetically unemployable thing. And sure enough, Ashley was willing to, sit down and say, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing, and the freelance conference sounds fantastic. Let's chat. So that's how we got started, and sure enough, here she is. And we will actually need to Skype you in from Patagonia, correct?
It's true. I will be in Chile when the conference is going on, except, not Texas, not exactly Texas, but Chile, yeah. They still have it there.
Really. So at least we get her, though. I was willing to take her however we could get Ashley. So what I want to ask you, though, first off is, and I've read the bio, but it's not the same as hearing it straight from your mouth. What gave you the idea of the Middle Finger Project?
Listen, Emily, you and I both know there are so many people out there who want to do their own thing. They have this great idea, or maybe they don't even have an idea, but they have an inkling. They really want to go and work for themselves. They want something bigger, better, more interesting, more passionate. And a lot of times now with the internet, what we're seeing happening is many people taking the internet, leveraging it for their own use, starting their own businesses, their own projects, their own creativity. However, it's not always that well received yet, because a lot of people are still giving a lot of pushback. You should be grateful to have a job with the economy we had. Are you sure? You're so young. That's not stable. There's not a good future. You don't know what you're, whatever. And it's difficult sometimes for people who really have these big ideas. They want to pursue them, but they're not involved in a community yet that's supportive. So they've just been bouncing ideas off of people that they know, which are usually your family or usually your friends or people that are climbing their way up the ladder at a pharmaceutical company, for example. So it's difficult, and I started the Middle Finger Project because I thought, well, that's a name that'll get some attention, right?
Right.
We have a great time. We're a community of creatives, and I don't often give the middle finger, but it's a metaphor for,
right.
Hey, you know what? Let's do what we can do right now. Why wait? Just go. Pull the trigger. Let's move.
And that is in such alignment with our freelancers. And definitely with me. So I got my little token term of genetically unemployable because I was at a conference and there was a bunch of us hanging out, and one of my friends said, oh my God, you're so genetically unemployable. I said, you know what? I am. And they said, that's a great domain. You should check it out. And within like 10 minutes, I own genetically unemployable. And here, it's still around today. I'm still trying to figure out what it's going to be, but at any rate, I've definitely found my way with just figuring out what freelancing is. So I want to jump right into your session, and you have a pretty interesting one that a lot of people don't think to talk about, and that is, all these difficult conversations. And having spent so many years in SEO and website design, I cannot tell you how much work I got from people that just stuck their head in a hole, I guess, because they didn't want to deal with some issue, and they disappeared. And then, of course, the client still needed the work done, and now they're looking for the next person. And what you get on the other end is, well, they just disappeared, and they don't understand why they disappeared. And I can relate because I can say that there's been times where I really just wanted to walk away and never return a phone call. It's those awkward conversations.
Yeah.
But you figured it out.
Well, you know what? It's amazing because what I did when I was young, my very first degree in college was in PR communications. I did a double degree in Spanish, and then I ended up doing my master's degree in linguistics. And words for me were always so important because this is how we humans communicate. And now with the internet, it's amazing because if you look at a website, yeah, you've got some pretty pictures and you've got some nice design, But at the end of the day, the reason why someone's going to click on your button, get excited about you, do anything that you want them to do, it's about the words that they're reading. Words for me are incredibly, incredibly important. And so, with this amazing new capability for humans to take the internet, start their own business, literally, you can do it tonight. You can come up with a name, domain, just like Emily just said, register it, bada bing, bada boom. You've got yourself a business. The minute you take money from somebody, you've got yourself a sole proprietorship. That's a business.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Money nowadays is really easy to take.
Yeah.
It is. It's really easy to take. It's easy to do business. You get online, you get on Twitter, you find a couple of people. It really is. Getting clients is not so hard as it used to be. However, once you get them, now you've got a whole nother scenario. Now you actually have to run a business, and you have to learn how to communicate with them. And it's not the same as communicating with regular humans, because now you've taken their money, and now there's a set expectation. Now there are things that need to be dealt with, expectations that need to be managed, conversations that need to be had, difficult ones, very difficult ones.
And real quick, I want to make sure that everybody knows there's a set of expectations both ways. Sure. It's just not a set of expectations from you because you took the money, but there's a set of expectations on them. What are they going to provide to you? So again, going back to website design, that's what I really connect with, right? Is I need you to give me X, Y, and Z, and in what time frame, and that needs to be communicated.
Right. And it's not that easy, right? Because the concept of saying to somebody, okay, well, I need this by this date, sounds on the surface really easy, but when it comes down to it, you've got, maybe you've got a client who's emailing you 4 times a day, and it's difficult because you've got what you need to move to the next phase, but they're really bombarding you with, extra stuff. Or maybe you've got a client on the other hand who you never hear from. And you email them, you need feedback, you need to keep moving with your job, and you can't get something back from them. Really difficult positions to be in. And this isn't something that comes naturally to people because they're not trained in business. Most people that are going into business for themselves are not trained in business. They're really good at what they do. They're really good at web design. They're really good at this amazing, beautiful illustration, whatever it is. And these are the skills that are going forward because more and more, you go, it's 2014, pretty soon it's going to be 2020. By that time, business is not even going to be a skill. It's going to be a way of life. So it's really important for us to have these conversations, how to have the conversations. How can we really talk to people in a way that makes them feel comfortable, that sets those boundaries, those expectations, that puts, the parameters around our working relationship in a way that formerly corporations did, businesses did, contracts and things like that did for you, but now you're working one-on-one, so things seem a little more informal.
Yeah.
It's a little more difficult. It's not all laid out perfectly and beautifully, and that is nice because there's some advantages, but it's also difficult sometimes if you don't have the language, you don't have the finesse, the poise, the way of navigating these situations. It's difficult at first, but it doesn't have to be.
Correct. So if you had one thing that this group can expect to take away from your talk, what would you say that probably is going to be?
Confidence, all the way. It's confidence. It's a grace in how you're handling yourself. This is so hard. It's nerve-wracking when you get on the phone with a client. It's nerve-wracking when you have to send the email saying, I want to break up with you. That happens sometimes, right?
It does.
It does. Maybe it's not a good fit. And you have to be able to be in control of those situations. So, honestly, what I really hope that everyone will come and learn is how to handle these situations gracefully, with eloquence, with poise, and in a way that not just handles the situation, but makes you look like a real pro. That's what we're aiming for here. Professionalism, finesse.
Well, this is going to tie in so well with 2 other of the sessions. One of the sessions is a panel session where we're going to talk about clients from hell. And one of those pieces is, when to fire them and how to fire them. So, yours is really going to tie in super well with that. And then we have another one of the speakers is talking about emotional intelligence. And so that ties into what you're talking about too, is you're talking about how to have the conversation, and then Mary's going to really be talking about how to know what's going on in here so that you can really set yourself up to have the conversation that you're going to teach us how to have. So that's just fantastic.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Communications is so important. And once you get a handle on this, once you get this, everything else falls into place. When you feel like you have this as a tool behind you, everything becomes easy, becomes graceful, it becomes natural. That's what we want. We want you to enjoy having a business and not dread it.
Absolutely. So last question. Why are you excited to Skype in and talk at the Freelance conference?
Yeah, Emily, you and I have had conversations about this in the past, but I think freelancers are the bee's knees because freelancers are 2 steps ahead of the rest. It takes a lot to be a freelancer. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage.
It is not for the meek.
It isn't. It's really something that you have to gather everything you got and put it on the table. Your work, your ethics, your management skills, who you are as a person, your character comes out as a freelancer. Freelancers are not for the weak at heart. They're just not. And I love this group of people because these people are the future. The internet is becoming so widespread throughout everything that we do. And sooner or later, it's going to occur to the rest of the population that they can actually bring their skills to the table. And it's going to become a network of people working for themselves. I think ultimately over time, the power of corporations is probably going to dwindle a bit. And I think that freelancers have a lot of potential for the way that they impact the world, the economy, our future, and everything. It's amazing now that you can take your skills, your amazing, most favorite thing that you love and you're most passionate about that formerly your boss didn't want to give you, even 5 minutes to think about. No, it's not a part of our plan. It's not a part of the proposal. It's not a part of whatever. You can now take that and use that for good. It's amazing the power that freelancers have now to impact our world and impact themselves financially, from a self-esteem point of view, from everything. It's incredible. So I want to be at this conference. I'm so excited to be at this conference because I believe in this and I want to support freelancers as much as I can because you ain't going away. In fact, none of us are going away. It's just going to continue to grow and grow. And I'm so proud to be that. So cool.
So awesome to have you. Thank you so much for your time. Those of you guys out there that haven't got your ticket yet, there are still some available. The conference is October 28th, and I will see you next month.